It was the summer of 2002 when Sarah and her husband moved into their new home on Maple Street, a quiet suburb just outside the city. The house was charming, with vintage wooden floors and an old fireplace. But there was something off about it, a strange coldness that Sarah couldn't shake, no matter how high the thermostat was set. The first few weeks were uneventful, but as the days passed, strange things began to happen. At night, Sarah would hear footsteps in the hallway when she knew no one was there. Sometimes she would find objects moved around the house, as though someone had touched them. She thought it was just her imagination running wild, or maybe she was adjusting to the new place. Then one evening, Sarah sat in the living room watching TV when she heard a loud bang coming from upstairs. It was followed by a voice, not a whisper, but a full, clear sentence. "Get out." She froze. Her husband was away on business, and she was alone. Hesitant, but determined to find out what it was, Sarah made her way upstairs. The air grew colder as she ascended, and her breath fogged in the air. As she reached the hallway, the door to the master bedroom slammed open by itself. Terrified, she sat away and ran outside. The moment she stepped onto the porch, she could feel a strange pressure lift from her chest. The next day, she contacted a local paranormal investigator. They discovered that the house had once belonged to a family who mysteriously disappeared in the 1970s. Neighbors had often spoken of strange happenings, but nothing ever explained it. The investigator told her that the house was haunted by the restless spirits of the family. They had been trying to warn Sarah and her husband. She never returned to that house. The disappearing hitchhiker. In 1999, Michael was driving home from a late-night work shift on a dark, empty highway. It was around 2 a.m. and he had the whole road to himself, save for the occasional car passing in the opposite direction. As he approached a lonely stretch of road known for its dense woods, he noticed a figure standing on the side of the road, a woman in a long, flowing white dress. He slowed down and rolled down his window, offering her a ride. She looked around nervously, but then nodded, her voice soft and shaky. "Thank you," she said, climbing into the passenger seat. Michael could tell something was off, but he tried to focus on the road, thinking she was just another person stranded after a car breakdown. As they drove, the woman remained silent, her gaze fixed ahead. After a few minutes, Michael tried to make small talk, but she only responded with short answers. His unease grew as they drove deeper into the woods. "Where are you headed?" he asked, trying to break the silence. She replied softly, "Just a few miles down the road, past the old bridge." Michael nodded, but didn't sit right with him. As they approached the bridge, he glanced at the empty seat next to him. The woman was gone. He slammed on the brakes, looking around in panic, but there was no sign of her anywhere. He turned the car around, driving back to the last spot where he had seen her, but the road was completely deserted. Shaken, he continued driving, but when he got home and checked the local news the next morning, he discovered something chilling. A woman had gone missing on that exact stretch of road several years ago, and her body had been found near the old bridge. Some believed she had been killed by a hit-and-run driver. Michael had picked up the ghost of the very woman who had died there.